You got fat and barren, Natasha. Derek Lancaster's voice carried across the terrace. He raised his champagne glass high. His fiancée Crystal pressed against his side in a white size 0 dress, her hand resting on her barely visible baby bump. At least Crystal managed both. Stay thin and give me a son. The 200 engagement party guests laughed. Nervous laughter. Uncomfortable laughter. But they laughed. Natasha Pierce stood at the edge of the crowd. She wore an emerald green dress that hugged her transformed figure. Her dark hair was swept up elegantly. She looked stunning. She didn't cry. She didn't look down. She didn't run away. She just pulled out her phone. She checked the time. Then she smiled. A small smile. Calm. Almost peaceful. Derek saw it. It confused him, irritated him. Saw her perfectly transformed body confused him more. Why was she smiling? She should be humiliated. She should be leaving in tears. She should be broken. Actually, Derek, Natasha said. Her voice was calm, clear. It carried across the suddenly silent crowd. I didn't come alone either. Derek's smile faltered. Natasha turned toward the mansion's massive double doors. 10-foot oak doors that opened onto the marble terrace where Derek stood. She raised her hand. A simple gesture. The left door swung open slowly. A small boy stepped out onto the terrace. 3 years old. Maybe a little younger. He wore a perfectly tailored navy blue suit, the exact same shade as Derek's $5,000 custom Tom Ford suit. Same color, same style, same cut, like someone had deliberately matched them. The boy had dark curls that bounced as he walked tentatively forward. Bright green eyes that scanned the crowd of strangers nervously. He looked around. His small voice called out, "Mommy?" The crowd turned as one. Whispers started immediately. Is that her son? Whose child is that? Oh my God, look at his eyes. Then the right door opened. Another boy stepped out. Same age, same navy suit, same dark curls bouncing, same bright green eyes. Identical to the first boy. Completely identical. The whispers got louder, frantic. Wait, are those twins? They look exactly the same. Derek's champagne glass began to tremble in his hand. The liquid sloshed against the crystal. Crystal grabbed his arm. Her perfectly manicured nails dug into his jacket. Derek! Her voice was high, panicked. Derek, what? Then the left door opened again. A third boy walked out onto the terrace. Same age, same navy suit. Same dark curls, same bright green eyes, same face, same everything. Identical to the first two. 3 identical 3-year-old boys standing in a line on the white marble terrace. The crowd gasped. Actual gasps, like air being sucked out of the party. Derek's champagne glass slipped from his fingers. It fell. It seemed to fall in slow motion. It hit the marble floor. It shattered. The sound was deafening in the complete silence. Glass scattered everywhere. Champagne splashed across Derek's $2,200 Italian leather shoes. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Nobody spoke. Melissa King, Seattle's most famous lifestyle blogger, 2.5 million Instagram followers, verified checkmark, stood near the stage with her phone pointed at the scene. She'd been live streaming the entire engagement party. Her hands shook with excitement as she zoomed in on the 3 boys. Her live stream chat exploded. Wait, are those his kids? 3 of them? OMG, this is insane. Who is the mom? Look at their eyes, they look exactly like him. This is better than any movie. Someone screen record this. The viewer count jumped from 8,000 to 45,000 in 30 seconds. The 3 boys saw Natasha. Their small faces lit up with recognition and relief. Mommy, they shouted in perfect unison. They ran. 3 identical boys in matching navy suits running across the perfect lawn, past the shocked guests, past the silent orchestra, past the ice sculptures and champagne fountains, straight toward Natasha. Their small white shoes pounded against the grass. Mommy, mommy, mommy! They crashed into her legs. She knelt down immediately. She opened her arms wide and gathered all three into her embrace. She kissed the top of each head. 1, 2, 3. Noah, Liam, Ethan, her sons, Derek's sons, their sons. 200 guests stood frozen. Phones came out. Everyone started recording. Melissa King's livestream viewer count hit 120,000. The comments scrolled so fast they were unreadable. Is this real? Oh my God, oh my God. Those are his kids. He didn't know? This is the tea of the century. I'm screaming. Crystal's hand flew to her mouth. Her perfectly applied lipstick smeared against her palm. Derek, she whispered urgently. Derek, who are those children? Derek couldn't speak. His mouth opened but no sound came out. His brain couldn't process what his eyes were seeing. 3 boys. 3 identical boys. With his eyes, his hair, his nose, his jaw, his face. Natasha stood up slowly, gracefully. She kept her hands on her son's shoulders protectively. All 3 boys pressed close to her, suddenly shy in front of so many strangers staring at them. She looked directly at Derek. Across 50 feet of perfect lawn. Across the scattered glass. Across 3.5 years of silence. Her voice carried. Strong. Clear. Powerful. Derek, I'd like you to meet Noah, Liam, and Ethan. She touched each boy's shoulder as she said their names. They're 3.5 years old. She paused. Let that number sink in. Let everyone do the math. 3.5 years. The crowd murmured. People were calculating, whispering. They're triplets. Another pause. The crowd gasped again, louder this time. Some people actually put their hands over their mouths. Triplets. 3 identical boys. Natasha's voice stayed calm, steady, powerful. And they're your sons, Derek. But before we dive into how we got here, I need you to do something for me. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is right now. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because what happens next will absolutely destroy you. I promise you've never heard a revenge story like this. Now let's go back to where this nightmare really began. 2 years earlier, in a lawyer's office in downtown Seattle, where Derek Lancaster said the words that would cost him everything. 2 years earlier. The lawyer's office was all glass and chrome. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elliott Bay. Gray leather chairs that cost more than most people's cars. A conference table so polished you could see your reflection in it. Natasha Williams, she was still Natasha Williams then, still carrying his last name, sat across from her husband Derek. Her soon-to-be ex-husband. She wore a loose gray sweater that hid her body. Jeans, no makeup. Her eyes were red and swollen from hours of crying. Derek wore a 3-piece Tom Ford suit, navy blue. His dark hair was perfectly styled. His green eyes were cold, hard, empty. Between them sat Richard Morrison, Natasha's divorce attorney. A kind man in his 60s with wire-rimmed glasses who'd seen too many marriages end badly. If you could both just sign here, Richard said gently, sliding papers across the glass table. Natasha's hand trembled as she picked up the pen. Her fingers could barely grip it. 12 years. Derek's voice cut through the quiet room like a knife. Natasha looked up. Tears blurred her vision. Derek leaned back in his chair. His green eyes traveled over her with obvious disgust. 12 years I wasted on you. Derek, Richard started, his voice carrying a warning. No. Derek held up his hand. She needs to hear this. She needs to understand. He leaned forward. His voice was ice. 12 years of trying, 12 years of hoping, 12 years of expensive fertility treatments that accomplished absolutely nothing. 5 rounds of IVF, 5 complete failures, $250,000 spent, 0 results. Natasha's voice was barely a whisper. The doctor said we should try the 6th round. Dr. Fisher said the odds were better this time. Dr. Fisher is wrong. Derek's voice was sharp, final. Or Dr. Fisher is lying to keep taking our money. Either way, it doesn't matter. He stood up. He buttoned his suit jacket. He looked down at Natasha like she was something he'd found on the bottom of his shoe. Your body doesn't work, Natasha. Face it. Accept it. You're defective. The word hung in the air. Defective. Like a broken machine, a faulty product. Something to be returned, discarded, thrown away. Natasha flinched like she'd been slapped. That's enough, Richard said firmly. Mr. Lancaster, there's no need. There's every need. Derek walked to the window. He looked out at the Seattle skyline. His reflection in the glass was cold. I'm 43 years old. I don't have time to keep wasting my life on a woman whose body can't do the one thing nature designed it for. He turned back to face them. I met someone else. Natasha's breath caught. Her chest tightened. She couldn't breathe. Her name is Crystal Montgomery. She's 28 years old, former Miss California. She works out 6 days a week with a personal trainer. She does yoga. She eats clean. She takes care of herself. He walked back to the table. His eyes traveled over Natasha's body again. She doesn't look like that. He gestured at Natasha, at her loose sweater, at the 40 pounds she'd gained over years of fertility hormones. Estrogen, progesterone, follicle-stimulating hormone, all of it flooding her system month after month, changing her body, making her retain water, making her gain weight no matter how little she ate. Weight that settled around her hips, her stomach, her thighs, her face. Weight that Derek mentioned every single day. You used to be beautiful, Derek continued. His voice was cruel, clinical. When I married you, you were thin. You were a size 4. You took care of your appearance. You made an effort. He picked up his briefcase. Now look at you. You've let yourself go completely. You're a size 14, maybe 16. You don't even try anymore. The hormones, Natasha started, her voice breaking, are an excuse. Derek cut her off. Crystal's doctor confirmed she's perfectly fertile. Her family has a history of easy pregnancies, multiple children. Her mother had 4 kids, all natural births, no complications. Her sister just had twins. He opened his briefcase. He pulled out a folder. He dropped it on the table in front of Natasha. Crystal's medical records. I had her doctor send them to me. Perfect reproductive health. Perfect hormone levels. Perfect everything. Natasha looked at the folder. She didn't touch it. I'm going to have a family, Natasha. A real family. Children. A son to carry on my name, my legacy. Everything I deserve. Everything I've worked for. He picked up his pen. He signed the divorce papers without hesitation. His signature was bold, confident, aggressive. He pressed so hard the pen nearly tore through the paper. You're getting the house in Portland. That's more than generous considering you brought nothing to this marriage except disappointment and wasted time. He slid the papers back across the table. I brought 12 years, Natasha said quietly. Her voice was steady now. Something in her had hardened. 12 wasted years. Derek picked up his briefcase. And 40 pounds. He walked toward the door. Natasha's voice stopped him. Derek, what about the 6th round? He turned. What about it? We already paid for it. The embryos are ready. Dr. Fisher scheduled the transfer for next week. We could try one more. No! The word was absolute. Final. Like a door slamming shut. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. Cancel it. Throw the embryos away. Donate them. I don't care what you do with them. But what if it works this time? It won't work. Derek's voice was cold, hard. Nothing works with you. Your body is broken. Your eggs are bad. Your uterus doesn't function properly. Accept it and move on with your life. He opened the door. Don't contact me. Don't call. Don't email. Don't show up at my office or my house. If you try, I'll get a restraining order. Move on with your life, Natasha. Find someone with lower standards. Someone who doesn't care about having children. Someone who doesn't mind. He gestured at her body again. Someone who likes bigger women. He walked out. The door closed behind him with a soft click. Natasha sat in the silent office. Tears ran down her face. Her whole body shook. Richard Morrison moved his chair closer to hers. He handed her the tissue box. I'm so sorry, he said gently. That was unconscionable. Natasha took a tissue. She wiped her eyes. She tried to steady her breathing. Then she felt it. A flutter, low in her abdomen, so subtle she almost missed it, like butterfly wings, like a whisper, like a secret. Her hand flew to her stomach. No, it couldn't be. It was impossible. They'd done the 6th IVF transfer 2 weeks ago, before Derek knew he wanted the divorce, before he met Crystal at that charity gala, before everything fell apart. 2 weeks ago, Dr. Fisher had implanted 3 embryos into Natasha's uterus. Standard procedure for women over 35. Usually, none of them took. The embryos didn't implant. The pregnancy didn't happen. Month after month of disappointment and blood and tears. Sometimes, if they were incredibly lucky, 1 embryo took. 1 pregnancy. 1 chance. Very rarely, maybe 1–2% of the time, 2 embryos took. Twins. But 3? 3 was almost impossible. 3 was a medical miracle. 3 was... Natasha pulled out her phone with shaking hands. She opened her calendar app. Her period was late. 6 days late. She was never late. The fertility hormones made her cycle like clockwork. Every 28 days exactly. But now? Nothing. "Mr. Morrison," she said slowly. Her voice was different now, stronger. "I need to make a phone call." 3 days later, Natasha sat in Dr. Fisher's office at Seattle Reproductive Medicine. Dr. Sarah Fisher was in her 50s, kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, gray hair pulled back in a neat bun. She'd been Natasha's fertility doctor for 6 years. She'd seen Natasha through every failed cycle, every disappointment, every breakdown, every loss. Now she smiled, a real smile, warm, genuine, filled with joy. "Congratulations, Natasha. You're pregnant." Natasha couldn't breathe. The room tilted. How far along?" "About 3 weeks, maybe 4. The timing matches perfectly with the 6th IVF cycle." Natasha started crying. Not sad tears, not angry tears. Relief and terror and joy and confusion all mixed together. "Does Derek know?" Dr. Fisher asked carefully. "I heard about the divorce. I'm so sorry." "He doesn't know. Natasha wiped her eyes. "He said to throw the embryos away. He said they wouldn't work. He said I was defective." Dr. Fisher's face hardened. "You are not defective. Your body is working perfectly right now. You're pregnant. You did it." "He has to know about this," Natasha said. "These are his children too. He has a right." "Does he?" Dr. Fisher asked quietly. "Does a man who called you defective and walked away have a right to this baby?" "It's not about rights. It's about..." Natasha put her hand on her stomach. "It's about doing what's right." Dr. Fisher nodded. "Have your lawyer send him certified medical documentation, proof. He'll have to respond to that." But Derek didn't respond. Natasha tried calling Derek from her car in the parking garage. "The number you are trying to reach has been blocked." She tried again. And again. Same message. She tried texting. "Derek, please call me. It's urgent. It's about the treatment." Message failed to send. "You have been blocked by this contact." She sent an email to the address she'd used for 12 years. "Derek, please read this. I need to talk to you about something important. It's about the 6th IVF cycle. Please call me." The email bounced back within seconds. "This address has blocked your messages. Mail delivery failed." Natasha drove to Derek's office in downtown Seattle. Lancaster Industries occupied floors 40–45 of the Rainier Tower, a prestigious address, glass and steel, billion-dollar views. She walked into the gleaming lobby. Marble floors, modern art on the walls, a massive reception desk with 3 security guards. She walked to the desk. "I need to see Derek Lancaster. It's urgent." The guard checked his computer. His professional smile faded. "Name, please." "Natasha Lancaster. I'm his wife." She stopped. "His ex-wife." The guard's expression changed. He turned his monitor so she could see. Her name was there. Red flag. Red text. Natasha Lancaster. No access, security alert. Do not admit under any circumstances. Call Mr. Lancaster immediately if she appears. I'm sorry, ma'am. You're not on the approved visitor list. I can't let you up. There must be a mistake. I just need 5 minutes. I need to tell him something important. Ma'am, I have explicit instructions. The guard's hand moved toward his radio. Mr. Lancaster has requested no contact with you under any circumstances. If you don't leave, I'll have to call the police. Please, just tell him it's about the fertility treatment. Ma'am, I'm asking you to leave now. 2 more security guards appeared. They stood on either side of her. Not touching, not threatening, just present. Natasha left. She sat in her car in the parking garage for 20 minutes. Her hands gripped the steering wheel so tight her knuckles turned white. She pulled out her phone. She called her lawyer. Morrison and Associates, how may I help you? This is Natasha Lancaster. I need to speak with Richard Morrison immediately. Please, it's an emergency. 1 moment. Classical music played. Natasha counted the seconds. 43 seconds before Richard came on the line. Natasha, are you all right? I need you to contact Derek. Richard, I think the last IVF worked. I'm having symptoms. Morning sickness, missed period. I need him to know. Richard was quiet for a long moment. Natasha, I received a letter from Derek's new legal team this morning, Wagner and Associates. They're the most aggressive family law firm in Seattle. They specialize in high net worth divorces. What did the letter say? Richard sighed. Let me read it to you. Papers rustled. Dear Mr. Morrison, Richard read. This letter serves as formal notice that our client, Mr. Derek Lancaster, refuses all contact with your client, Ms. Natasha Williams. Richard's voice caught. They won't even use your married name anymore. He continued reading. Any claims regarding pregnancy or potential children will be considered fraudulent attempts at extortion. Mr. Lancaster's medical consultants have reviewed the fertility history and determined that successful pregnancy is statistically improbable. Should your client persist in attempting contact or making false pregnancy claims, Mr. Lancaster will pursue restraining orders and legal action for harassment, defamation, and attempted fraud. We strongly advise your client to cease all contact immediately and move forward with her life. Sincerely, Robert Wagner, Senior Partner, Wagner and Associates. Richard stopped reading. Natasha couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. They're calling you a liar before you've even told them you're pregnant, Richard said quietly. They're threatening you preemptively. But I am pregnant. We have proof, medical proof. I know, but Natasha, Richard's voice was gentle. Do you really want to fight this? Derek has made his position clear. He wants nothing to do with you. His lawyers are threatening legal action. Do you want to spend the next 9 months in court battles while you're pregnant? He's the father. He's a man who called you defective and blocked every attempt at contact. Richard paused. Natasha, I need you to think carefully about what you want here. Do you want Derek involved in your child's life? Do you want to co-parent with someone who treats you this way? Natasha was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I need to take a pregnancy test, a real one. Then I need to think. Call me when you're ready. Natasha lay on the examination table in Dr. Fisher's office. The ultrasound wand pressed against her abdomen, cold gel making her shiver. Dr. Fisher moved the wand slowly, staring at the monitor. Her eyes widened. Oh my, Dr. Fisher whispered. What? What's wrong? Natasha tried to sit up. Nothing's wrong. Natasha, look at the screen. Dr. Fisher turned the monitor toward her. Natasha stared. 3 distinct sacs, 3 tiny forms, 3 heartbeats flickering like stars in a dark sky. You're having triplets, Natasha. The room spun. The ceiling blurred. Natasha couldn't process the words. Triplets? 3 babies, all developing normally, all healthy. It's rare with IVF, only about 1 to 2% of cases, but it happens when all 3 embryos implant successfully. Dr. Fisher squeezed Natasha's hand. 3 boys, Natasha. You're having 3 sons. Natasha put her hand on her stomach. 3 babies growing inside her while their father called her defective and barren and broken. 3 children he would never know about because he'd blocked every single attempt she made to tell him. 3 sons. Derek wanted a son so desperately he divorced her for it. Now she was carrying 3 of them, and he would never know. 1 week later, Natasha sat in Richard Morrison's office. Richard read through Derek's legal team's latest communication. His jaw tightened. They've escalated. They're now threatening harassment charges if you continue trying to contact Derek. They're calling your pregnancy claims, and I quote, desperate and fraudulent attempts at extortion from a woman who clearly cannot accept the end of her marriage. Natasha's hand rested on her small belly. 16 weeks now, just starting to show. What if I stop trying? What do you mean? What if I just raise them alone? What if I take nothing from him, no child support, no contact, nothing? What if I just disappear? Richard leaned back in his chair. Natasha, you're pregnant with triplets. Do you understand how expensive that will be? Medical bills alone could be $100,000 or more. Childcare for 3 infants? Diapers, formula, clothes, everything times 3? I'll figure it out. You don't have to do this alone. Derek is the biological father. He has financial responsibility. No. Natasha's voice was firm, hard, final. Derek made his choice. He called me defective. He blocked my calls. He threatened me with lawsuits. His lawyers called me a liar and a fraud while I'm actually pregnant with his children. She stood up. I won't beg him for anything. Not money, not acknowledgement, nothing. What about the children? Don't they deserve to know their father? Their father called their mother defective. Natasha looked Richard in the eye. He blocked her when she tried to tell him she was pregnant. He sent lawyers to threaten her. What kind of father does that? She put both hands on her belly. These boys will know the truth when they're old enough to understand. When they turn 18, they can decide if Derek Lancaster is worth knowing. But until then, they're mine. Only mine. Richard nodded slowly. All right. I'll draft papers waiving any financial claims against Derek Lancaster. You'll sign away child support, medical reimbursement, everything. He'll have no financial obligation to these children. Good. And the birth certificates? Father unknown. Richard drafted the papers. Natasha signed them without hesitation. She signed away hundreds of thousands of dollars in child support. She signed away health insurance coverage. She signed away everything Derek's money could provide. Because she wanted something more valuable than his money. She wanted her dignity, and she wanted Derek to someday, somehow, realize exactly what he'd thrown away. Portland Providence Medical Center. June 23rd, 3:47 a.m. Natasha's sister Claire held her hand as contractions ripped through her body like lightning. You're doing amazing, Claire whispered. Almost there, almost there. The delivery room was crowded. 3 warming tables, 3 pediatric teams, 2 nurses, 1 doctor, and more equipment than Natasha had ever seen. Here comes baby A, Dr. Martinez announced. A cry pierced the air. Tiny, fierce Ollie, angry at being pulled into the cold, bright world. It's a boy! They placed him on Natasha's chest for exactly 10 seconds, skin to skin, his wet body against hers, before whisking him to the warming table. Baby B is coming. Push, Natasha. Push! Push! Another cry, stronger this time, louder. Another boy! More crying, more tiny fists waving. Baby C, here we go, and it's a boy! 3 healthy boys, Natasha. You did it! Natasha collapsed back on the pillow. Every muscle in her body hurt. She'd been in labor for 19 hours, but they were here. They were alive. They were breathing. 3 sons. Derek's sons. Her sons. Nurses weighed them, measured them, wrapped them in blue blankets. What are you naming them? Claire asked, tears streaming down her face. Natasha looked at the 3 warming tables. 3 tiny humans. 3 miracles. Noah, she said. Her voice was hoarse from screaming. Liam and Ethan. Noah, Liam, and Ethan Pierce, Claire said. Using your maiden name? Yes, they're mine. Only mine. Claire brought each baby to Natasha one by one. 3 identical faces. Dark hair, Derek's hair. Green eyes that would eventually turn the exact same shade as Derek's. Button noses. Perfect tiny fingers. "You're going to be okay," Natasha whispered to them, to Noah, Liam, and Ethan. "I promise you, you're going to have everything you need. Everything. I promise." Year 1, Natasha's small rental house in Portland was pure chaos. 3 cribs crammed into 1 bedroom, 3 high chairs in the kitchen, 3 screaming babies who never ever slept at the same time. Claire moved in to help. Natasha worked from home, freelance accounting and financial consulting. She'd worked at a top firm before marrying Derek. She still had contacts. She still had skills. She took every client she could get. She worked on her laptop during 2 a.m. feedings while Noah nursed on one breast, and she bottle-fed Liam with her free hand while Ethan screamed in his crib. She slept 3 hours a night, maybe 4 if she was lucky. Her body ached, her eyes burned, her back hurt from carrying 3 babies. But when all 3 boys smiled at her, those matching green-eyed smiles, everything else faded. Year 2. The boys started walking, 3 toddlers running in different directions. 3 boys climbing on everything. 3 boys getting into cabinets, pulling down books, dumping out toy bins. Natasha hired a part-time nanny, Maria, a grandmother from Ecuador who loved the boys like they were her own grandsons. Maria spoke Spanish to them. They learned 2 languages simultaneously. Natasha's freelance business grew. 5 clients became 10. 10 became 20. She raised her rates. She worked harder. She slept less. She never took a vacation. Never went out with friends. Never dated. Her entire life was her son's. She bought a house. A real house. 3 bedrooms. Small backyard. Safe neighborhood. Good schools. She did it alone. Year 3, Noah, Liam, and Ethan turned 3 years old. Natasha started Pierce Financial Consulting, a real firm, an office downtown, 8 employees. The boys went to Pacific Heights Academy preschool. They played soccer on Saturday mornings. 3 identical boys in matching blue uniforms running after the ball in a chaotic pack. Natasha lost the weight, not through extreme dieting or surgery, just through stress, running after 3 toddlers, and finally having time to take care of herself again. She looked different now. Stronger, leaner, more confident. Her body had changed, not back to what it was, but into something new, something powerful. But she never thought about Derek. She'd built a life, a good life, a full life, without him, without his money, without his name. She won every single day by being the parent Derek refused to be. 3.5 years after the birth, Natasha checked her mailbox after work. Bills, advertisements, a package from Amazon, and a thick gold envelope, expensive paper, embossed lettering. Heavy, formal. Her heart stopped when she saw the return address. Lancaster Industries, Seattle. WA. She stood on her porch holding the envelope. Her hands started shaking. She opened it slowly. "You are cordially invited to celebrate the engagement of Derek Lancaster and Crystal Montgomery. Saturday, June 15th, 7 o'clock p.m. Lancaster Estate, Bellevue, Washington. Black tie optional." Inside was a handwritten note in Derek's distinctive script. Strong, aggressive handwriting. Pressed so hard into the paper you could feel the indentations on the back. "Natasha, I wanted you to see what a real family looks like. Crystal is 12 weeks pregnant with our son. We're naming him Derek Jr. I finally have everything I wanted. Everything you couldn't give me. I'm genuinely happy now. Truly happy. Complete. I thought you deserved to know that I've moved on. I hope you have too. You were right about one thing, we weren't meant to be together. I needed someone whole, someone who works, no hard feelings. I wish you well." Derek Natasha read the note 3 times. Then she laughed. It wasn't a bitter laugh. It wasn't an angry laugh. It was almost pitying. Claire walked out onto the porch. "What's funny?" Natasha handed her the invitation. Claire read it. Her face turned red, then purple. "That absolute bastard. He invited you to gloat, to humiliate you, to parade his perfect new life in your face. Yes, you're not going. Natasha smiled slowly, calmly, dangerously. Actually, I am. Natasha, no. Why would you subject yourself to that? Why would you give him the satisfaction? Because I'm going to bring guests. Claire stared at her sister. Understanding dawned slowly. You don't mean, yes, I'm bringing Noah, Liam, and Ethan. Natasha, they're 3 years old. They'll be terrified. There will be 200 people. They'll be fine. Natasha pulled out her phone. And I'm going to enjoy every single second of Derek's face when he sees them. Are you sure about this? He wanted me to see his perfect life. Natasha's smile was calm, steel underneath. Now he gets to see mine. Natasha took the boys to Nordstrom Children's Department the next Saturday. Why do we need fancy clothes, Mommy? Noah asked. He was always the practical one, the thinker. We're going to a party. I like parties. Liam bounced on his feet. He was the happy one, the energetic one. Ethan hid behind Natasha's leg. Will there be lots of people? He was the sensitive one, the quiet one. Yes, baby, but we'll be together, all of us. She found 3 identical navy suits, small suits for 3-year-old boys, perfectly tailored. The exact same shade as the suit Derek wore in every business photo. She bought them each white dress shirts, black shoes, white socks. She also bought herself a dress. Emerald green, fitted, elegant, expensive. The weight she'd lost revealed a body Derek had never seen. A body that had carried 3 babies. A body that was strong now. Powerful. The day before the party, Natasha called her lawyer. Richard, I need you to prepare documents. What kind of documents? DNA test results, birth certificates, medical records proving Derek is the biological father, the threatening letter from his lawyers, everything. Richard was quiet for a long moment. Natasha, are you sure you want to do this? Very sure. This will be nuclear. This will destroy him publicly. Good. Do you want me there? No. This is between Derek and me. Another pause. He's going to be devastated. I know, Natasha said quietly, and I'm going to watch. Saturday arrived bright and warm. Derek Lancaster stood on the terrace of his Bellevue mansion watching workers complete final preparations. 10,000 square feet of house, Lake Washington view, worth $12 million. The lawn was perfect. The flowers were perfect. White and gold everywhere, balloons, ribbons, table settings. An orchestra tuned their instruments on a raised platform. 20 musicians. Bartenders set up 3 bars, champagne towers, ice sculptures. 200 guests would arrive in 3 hours. Derek wore his navy Tom Ford suit. $5,000, custom tailored. Perfect. He looked at himself in the terrace windows. Tall, handsome, successful, powerful. He had everything. Crystal walked out wearing her white engagement dress, size 0. Her blonde hair was perfect. Her makeup was perfect. Her baby bump was small but visible. Is everything ready? She asked. Perfect. Everything's perfect. Your ex-wife is actually coming? I got the RSVP confirmation yesterday. Derek smiled. She's coming. Why did you invite her? Because I want her to see this. Derek gestured at the mansion, the decorations, Crystal, everything. I want her to see what happens when you find someone who works, someone whole. Crystal looked uncomfortable. That seems cruel. It's honest, Derek pulled her close. She needs to understand that some people get the happy ending. Some people get the family. Some people are built for this. And some people aren't? Exactly. At 6:00 p.m., the first guests arrived. Business partners, socialites, tech executives, Seattle's elite. They congratulated Derek. They admired the decorations. They drank champagne. At 6:30, Melissa Fisher arrived. Melissa was Seattle's most famous lifestyle blogger. 2.5 million Instagram followers. Blue verification checkmark. Invitations to every major event in the city. She wore a red dress. She carried a professional camera. A young assistant followed her with extra equipment. "Derek, darling," Melissa kissed his cheek. "This party is absolutely magnificent." "Thank you, Melissa. Make sure you capture everything." "Oh, I will." Melissa's eyes sparkled with anticipation. "I heard your ex-wife is coming. Is that true?" "Yes." "How interesting." Melissa pulled out her phone. "Do you mind if I live stream? My followers would love this." "Please do. I want everyone to see this." Melissa set up her phone on a small tripod. She went live. "Hey everyone, Melissa Fisher here at Derek Lancaster's incredible engagement party, and rumor has it his ex-wife is showing up. This might get spicy. Stay tuned." The viewer count started climbing. 5,000, 8,000, 12,000. By 7 o'clock p.m., 200 guests filled the lawn and terrace. The orchestra played soft jazz. Waiters circulated with champagne and appetizers. Everything was perfect. Derek stood with Crystal near the stage, greeting guests, accepting congratulations. At 7:15, Derek decided it was time. He walked to the stage. He took the microphone from the bandleader. "Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please." The music stopped. Conversations quieted. Guests turned toward the stage. Derek smiled. He felt powerful, victorious. This was his moment. "Thank you all for coming tonight to celebrate with Crystal and me." Applause. "As most of you know, the last few years have been quite a journey for me. My first marriage ended in divorce. It was difficult, painful, a real test of character." He paused. Let the words sink in. Some of you know the details, some don't. But I think tonight is the right time to share my story, to be honest about what I've been through, to show you all what perseverance looks like. Crystal shifted uncomfortably beside him. She whispered, "Derek, what are you doing?" He ignored her. "My first wife, Natasha, and I tried for 12 years to have children. 12 years. 5 rounds of IVF. $250,000 spent on fertility treatments." The crowd murmured sympathetically. "We wanted a family so badly. I wanted a son, an heir, someone to carry on the Lancaster name." He looked out at the crowd, making eye contact, drawing them in. But month after month, year after year, nothing. The treatments didn't work. Her body didn't respond to the medications. The embryos didn't implant. Nothing. He shook his head sadly. Eventually, I had to make a difficult decision. A decision no man wants to make. I had to accept that my first wife simply couldn't give me children, that her body didn't work the way it needed to, that she was, he paused, incompatible with motherhood. The crowd was silent. Some people looked uncomfortable, others nodded sympathetically. "I don't blame her," Derek continued. His voice took on a magnanimous tone. "It's not her fault. Some women are built for motherhood. Their bodies work. Their hormones balance properly. Their reproductive systems function as nature intended." He pulled Crystal closer. "And some women aren't." Crystal tried to step away. Derek's grip tightened. "Now, I know some of you might think it was wrong for me to end my marriage over this. Some of you might think I should have stayed, should have accepted a childless life." He shook his head firmly. "But I don't believe that. I believe every man deserves to have children, deserves to have a family, deserves to have someone carry on his name, his legacy, his bloodline." He raised his champagne glass. "So 3 years ago, I made the hardest decision of my life. I ended my marriage to a woman who couldn't give me children, and I found someone who could." He turned to Crystal. She looked like she wanted to disappear. "Crystal is 12 weeks pregnant with my son, my heir, Derek Lancaster Jr." Applause. Some enthusiastic, some polite, some silent. "God works in mysterious ways, doesn't he? He took away my broken marriage and gave me Crystal. Beautiful, fertile, perfect Crystal." Derek's voice got louder, more confident. "I even invited my ex-wife tonight. Natasha, are you here?" He looked out at the crowd, searching. "I wanted her to see this. I wanted her to see that I didn't give up on my dream of having a family. I just found someone who could make it happen." He spotted her, standing at the edge of the crowd, near the back, wearing an emerald green dress. She looked different, thinner, stronger, more beautiful than he remembered. Derek's confidence wavered for just a second. Then he doubled down. Natasha, there you are. Thank you for coming. Truly, I'm glad you could be here to see this. To see what happiness looks like, what completeness feels like. He raised his glass higher. So tonight, I want to make a toast to second chances, to never giving up on your dreams, to finding someone who works. He looked directly at Natasha. To understanding that some women are meant to be mothers, and some women, through no fault of their own, simply aren't built for it. He paused, savoring the moment. To real families, to biological children, to men who don't settle for less than they deserve. Several guests shifted uncomfortably. A few whispered to each other, but Derek continued. I want to thank everyone here for supporting me through my divorce, for understanding why I had to end my first marriage, for recognizing that a man shouldn't have to sacrifice his dreams of fatherhood just because his wife's body doesn't cooperate. He turned back to the full crowd. Life is too short to waste on people who can't give you what you need. Life is too short to stay in broken relationships with broken people. Crystal's face went pale. She pulled her arm free from Derek's grip. Derek, stop, she whispered. But Derek was on a roll. He felt powerful, righteous, vindicated. So here's to Crystal. Here's to our son. Here's to the family I always deserved. Here's to not settling. Here's to… Derek. Natasha's voice cut through his speech. Clear, calm, powerful. Derek stopped mid-sentence. Natasha walked forward, slowly, deliberately. The crowd parted for her. She walked with quiet confidence. The emerald dress moved with her. She looked incredible. She reached the front of the crowd. She stood 20 feet from the stage. You're right about one thing, Natasha said. Her voice carried perfectly across the silent lawn. God does work in mysterious ways. Derek's smile faltered. What? You said you wanted me to see your perfect family, your perfect life. Everything I couldn't give you. Yes, I brought something too. Natasha pulled out her phone. Actually, I brought someone. 3 someones to be exact. She pressed a number, held the phone to her ear. The crowd watched in complete silence. The phone rang once, twice. Someone answered. We're ready, Natasha said into the phone. Bring them in. She hung up. She looked at Derek. You wanted me to see what a real family looks like. Now you're going to see mine. Derek's champagne glass started trembling in his hand. Natasha, what are you… Just watch. She turned toward the mansion's double doors. The massive oak doors that opened onto the terrace where Derek stood on stage. Everyone turned. 200 guests, all staring at the doors. Nothing happened for 10 seconds. 10 seconds of pure, agonizing silence. Then the left door opened. Slowly. A small boy stepped out onto the terrace. The small boy wore a navy blue suit, the exact same shade as Derek's suit, like someone had deliberately matched them. He had dark curls, green eyes. He looked nervous. Mommy? He called out in a small voice. The crowd turned as one. Whispers erupted. Derek's champagne glass trembled harder. 10 more seconds of agonizing tension. Then the right door opened. A second boy stepped out. Same age, same suit, same hair, same eyes, identical to the first. The whispers got louder, frantic. Oh my God! Are those twins? They look exactly the same. Derek's face went white. His hand shook so badly champagne sloshed over the rim of his glass. Crystal grabbed his arm. Derek, who are they? 15 more seconds. The crowd held its collective breath. Then the left door opened again. A third boy stepped out. Same navy suit, same dark curls, same green eyes, same face. Identical to both of the others. 3 identical 3-year-old boys standing in a line on the white marble terrace. The crowd gasped. Loud gasps. Someone screamed softly. Derek's champagne glass fell from his fingers. It seemed to fall in slow motion. Everyone watched it fall. It hit the stage. It shattered. Glass everywhere. Champagne splashing. The sound echoed across the suddenly silent party. Melissa Fisher's live stream exploded. Oh my God. 3 kids. They look exactly like him. This is insane. I'm screaming. Are those his children? Her viewer count hit 300,000 and climbing. The 3 boys saw Natasha. Their faces lit up with relief. "Mommy!" they shouted together. They ran. 3 identical boys in matching navy suits running across the perfect lawn. Their small feet pounded the grass. "Mommy! Mommy! Mommy!" They crashed into Natasha's legs. She knelt immediately. She opened her arms and pulled all 3 into her embrace. She kissed each head. 1, 2, 3. "It's okay, babies. Mommy's here." 200 guests stood frozen. Phones came out everywhere. Everyone was recording. Melissa Fisher's live stream hit 500,000 viewers. Derek stood on the stage. His mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. Crystal's hands covered her face. No. Natasha stood up slowly, gracefully. She kept her hands on her son's shoulders. All 3 boys pressed close to her. She looked at Derek, across the scattered glass, across the broken champagne glass, across 3.5 years of silence and lies. Her voice was calm, clear, powerful. "Derek, I'd like you to meet Noah, Liam, and Ethan." She touched each boy's shoulder as she said their names. "They're 3.5 years old." Pause. "They're triplets." Longer pause. "And they're your sons." Derek couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't think. 3 boys, with his eyes, his hair, his face. They looked exactly like him. Crystal grabbed the DNA papers from Derek's shaking hands. She read them. Her face crumpled. "You have 3 sons," her voice broke. Three sons you didn't know about." "I didn't know," Derek started. "For 3.5 years?" Crystal screamed. The entire crowd heard. "How do you not know about 3 children for 3.5 years?" Natasha pulled another document from her purse. "Would you like to know why he didn't know?" She held up the threatening letter. "This is from Derek's lawyers, written 3.5 years ago when I tried to tell him I was pregnant." She began reading, her voice steady, clear, each word a knife. "Dear Ms. Williams," Natasha paused. "They wouldn't even use my married name." She continued. "Any claims regarding pregnancy or potential children will be considered fraudulent attempts at extortion." Gasps from the crowd. "Mr. Lancaster's medical consultants have confirmed that successful pregnancy between you is statistically improbable." More gasps. Angry murmurs. "Should you persist in attempting contact or making false pregnancy claims, Mr. Lancaster will pursue restraining orders and legal action for harassment, defamation, and attempted fraud." The crowd erupted. He threatened her? While she was pregnant? With his children? Oh my God, Natasha looked directly at Derek. "You didn't just not know. You refused to know. You blocked my calls. You blocked my emails. You banned me from your building. Your lawyers threatened to destroy me if I kept trying to contact you." She held up the letter. "So I stopped trying. I raised our sons alone. I paid for everything alone. I built a life alone. I gave them everything they needed. Without your money, without your name, without you." Derek's legs gave out. He fell to his knees right there on the stage. The crowd watched in complete silence. Derek Lancaster, billionaire, CEO, master of the universe, on his knees. "Please," he whispered. "Please, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know." "You didn't want to know," Natasha said. "There's a difference." Crystal ripped off her engagement ring. The 3-carat diamond Derek had spent $150,000 on. She looked at it, then at Derek, then at Natasha, then at the 3 little boys. "I can't marry someone who abandons children," Crystal said. Her voice was ice. "I can't have my son grow up thinking what you did is acceptable." She threw the ring at Derek's feet. It bounced, rolled, fell through a gap in the stage boards. Disappeared. We're done. Crystal, please, stay away from me. Stay away from my baby. Crystal turned to Natasha. Tears streamed down her face. I'm so sorry, I didn't know. I swear to God I didn't know. Natasha nodded once. I believe you. Crystal walked off the stage, through the crowd, into the mansion. She was gone. Derek looked up at Natasha from his knees. Tears and snot ran down his face. Please let me meet them. Let me talk to them. Just 5 minutes. Please. No. They're my sons. No, they're my sons. You're just a stranger who shares their DNA. Derek looked at the 3 boys. They stood close to their mother. Ethan hid partially behind her leg. Noah stared at Derek with confusion. Liam looked scared. Boys, Derek's voice cracked. I'm your… Don't, Natasha's voice was sharp. She stepped between Derek and the children. Don't you dare. Noah, 3 years old but already protective, stepped forward. Don't talk to my mommy like that. His small voice was fierce. Derek's heart shattered completely. His son, defending his mother, from him. I'm sorry, Derek sobbed. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. I made a terrible mistake. Yes, you did. Please, I'll give them everything. Money, trust funds, the best schools, anything they want, anything you want. They don't need your money. They have everything they need. But I'm their father. No. Natasha's voice was final. A father is someone who is there. Someone who changes diapers at 3 a.m., someone who reads bedtime stories, someone who kisses scraped knees, someone who shows up. She looked down at him with something that might have been pity. You're not their father. You're just the man who gave me his DNA, and you're not even a very good man. She turned to leave. Derek grabbed at her ankle. Wait, please, don't take them, don't go. Noah rushed forward. He pushed Derek's hand away with his tiny hands. Don't touch my mommy! 3 years old, defending his mother from a grown man. Natasha gently took Noah's hand. It's okay, baby. We're leaving now. Mommy, who is that man? Ethan asked quietly. Someone who made very bad choices, Natasha said. Someone we don't need to think about anymore. She took Noah's hand. She took Liam's hand. Ethan grabbed onto her dress. They walked off the stage. Through the silent crowd, past the shocked guests, past Melissa Fisher's camera capturing everything, past the champagne fountains and ice sculptures and string lights. Derek screamed from the stage. Natasha, please, I'm begging you, don't go! She didn't turn around. She didn't stop. She didn't even pause. She just kept walking with her 3 sons. They reached their car, a black rental sedan. Claire was waiting by the driver's door. The boys climbed into the back seat. Natasha climbed in beside them. The doors closed. The engine started. The car drove away slowly, down the long driveway, through the iron gates, onto the street. Gone. Derek collapsed completely on the stage. His expensive suit got dirty. Glass cut his hands and knees. He didn't notice. He just sobbed. By 9 p.m., 2 hours after Natasha left, Melissa Fisher's live stream had been viewed 3.2 million times. But it didn't stop there. People screen recorded the live stream. They downloaded it. They shared it. By 10 p.m., the video was on Twitter. Trending No. 1 worldwide. Had Derek Lancaster exposed? Secret triplets, sash, karma is real. By 11 p.m., entertainment news sites picked it up. TMZ, Seattle billionaire's secret triplets exposed at engagement party. E! News, you won't believe what happened at this engagement party. BuzzFeed, this billionaire called his ex-wife Barren, then 3 identical toddlers walked in. By midnight, it was on national news. CNN, viral video shows billionaire's shocking family secret. The Today Show booked Melissa Fisher for a morning interview by Sunday morning, less than 12 hours after the party. The video had 15 million views across all platforms. The comments were brutal. He deserves everything that happens to him. How do you abandon 3 children? That poor woman raised triplets alone. He called her defective while she was carrying his sons. She is glowing and he is crying, I love this. The boys in matching suits, I'm sobbing. Best revenge I've ever seen. This is what karma looks like. I hope he never finds peace. Those boys running to their mom made me cry. Derek became a meme. His face, mouth open in shock. Champagne glass falling became the universal symbol for instant regret. When you call your ex defective but she shows up with your triplets. Derek's shocked face. When you find out you have 3 sons you knew nothing about. Derek on his knees, crying. When karma arrives in a navy blue suit, picture of the 3 boys. His name became synonymous with abandonment, with cruelty, with getting exactly what you deserve. Someone created a TikTok trend, things that aged poorly, showing Derek's speech about broken women, followed immediately by the triplets walking in. It got 50 million views in 48 hours. Derek Lancaster was the most hated man on the internet. And everyone knew his name. Everyone knew what he'd done. Everyone knew about the 3 sons he threw away. The next morning, Derek sat in his home office. He hadn't slept. Hadn't changed clothes? His suit was still dirty from kneeling on the stage. Glass cuts on his hands had dried blood. His phone screen showed 847 missed calls. His email inbox, 2,147 unread messages. His social media, he barely used it. His assistant managed everything, was exploding. He opened Instagram. His business account had 50,000 new comments. All of them brutal. Child abandoner. You don't deserve those boys. I hope you die alone. Karma came for you. Those children are better off without you. You're a monster. He opened Twitter. His name was trending worldwide. Number 1. Above presidential elections. Above natural disasters. Above everything. Derek Lancaster exposed. The video had been watched 15 million times. 15 million people. Watching him call Natasha broken. Watching the triplets walk in. Watching his champagne glass shatter. Watching him fall to his knees begging. Someone had edited it into a 60-second TikTok with dramatic music. That version had 50 million views. Someone else made it into a meme format. Derek's shocked face became the internet's symbol for instant karma. His phone rang. He looked at the caller ID. James Thornton, his business partner, his oldest friend. Derek answered. James. Derek, what the actual fuck happened last night? James's voice was tight, angry. I'm seeing videos everywhere. Everyone is talking about you. Everyone. You saw the video. Everyone saw the video. 20 million people saw the video. My wife saw it. My daughter saw it. My neighbors saw it. Derek, is it true? Do you really have 3 sons you didn't know about? Yes. How is that possible? She got pregnant right after I filed for divorce. The last IVF cycle worked. I blocked her. I refused contact. My lawyers... Derek's voice broke. My lawyers threatened her. James was quiet for a long moment. Derek, the board met this morning. Emergency Sunday meeting. Derek's stomach dropped. And? They want you out. Out of Lancaster Industries. Out of the board. Out of everything. Immediate resignation. James, no, this isn't negotiable. Investors are already pulling out. 3 major clients canceled contracts this morning. Your name is toxic. The company can't survive association with you right now. I built that company, I know, and now you're destroying it. James sighed heavily. Derek, I've known you for 20 years. I've defended you through a lot, but this, 3 children, blocking their mother when she tried to tell you, threatening her with lawsuits while she was pregnant? I didn't know she was actually pregnant. You didn't care if she was. James's voice was hard. That's worse. That's so much worse. What am I supposed to do? Step down. Today. Sign the papers. Take your severance. Disappear for a while. And if I refuse, the board will force you out, and it will be uglier, public, humiliating. Is that what you want? Derek closed his eyes. No. The papers will be ready by noon. Sign them. Go quietly. Try to salvage whatever dignity you have left." He hung up. Derek sat in silence. His phone buzzed. Text message from his mother. "Is it true? Do I have 3 grandsons? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell anyone?" Another text from his sister. "Derek, I don't even know what to say. Everyone is calling me asking if I knew. I'm humiliated. How could you do this?" Another from his cousin. "You're all over the news. This is insane. Those poor boys." Derek threw his phone across the room. It hit the wall. The screen cracked. He put his head in his hands and cried. Natasha's house in Portland was peaceful, quiet, safe. The boys were in the living room building with blocks. They had no idea their faces were all over the internet. No idea millions of people were talking about them. They were just playing, just being 3-year-olds. Natasha's phone rang for the 100th time. Claire answered it. "Hello? Hi, this is Rebecca from Good Morning America. We'd like to have Natasha on the show tomorrow. We're offering—" "No," Claire said firmly. "We're prepared to offer $75,000 for an exclusive interview." "No, thank you." Claire hung up. The phone rang again immediately. "The Today Show would like—" "No." Ring. "Ellen's producers are very interested." "No." Ring. "Dr. Phil would love to have the whole family on." "Absolutely not." Ring. "Netflix is interested in a documentary." "Keep it." "No." Natasha walked into the kitchen. "Just turn the phone off." "They're offering a lot of money," Claire said. Good Morning America offered $75,000 just for one interview. "I don't care." The Today Show offered $100,000. "Claire, I don't care about the money." "But people want to hear your story." They already saw everything they needed to see. Natasha looked at her sons playing. "I'm not turning my children into a circus. I'm not putting them on TV. I'm not making them relive that party." Her lawyer, Richard Morrison, called. "Natasha, we need to talk about protective measures." "What do you mean?" "Derek is going to come after you. Legally. He'll file for custody or visitation. He has rights as the biological father." "Rights?" Natasha's voice was steel. "He abandoned them. I have documentation. His lawyers threatened me. I have the letter." "That will help. But Natasha, he could drag this out for years. Court battles, custody hearings. Eventually the boys would have to testify. They're 3 years old." "I know, but if this goes on long enough, they'll be 4, then 5, then 6. And family courts often push for father involvement, even when the father was absent initially." "So what do I do?" "We prepare for war. We document everything. Every attempt he makes at contact. Every gift he sends. Everything. We build an ironclad case that he voluntarily abandoned these children and his return would be traumatic and destabilizing." "Good. Do it." "There's one more thing." "What?" "The media attention. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Reporters might show up at your house, at the boys' preschool. You need to be prepared." Natasha looked at her sons. Noah was helping Liam build a tower. Ethan was drawing with crayons. They were happy, safe, stable. "I'll do whatever it takes to protect them." Derek tried everything. Attempt number 1. Letters? He wrote long letters to Natasha. 10 pages, apologizing, explaining, begging. "Dear Natasha, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know I don't deserve to know our sons, but I'm asking anyway. Please, please let me meet them. Please let me be part of their lives. I made a mistake, the worst mistake of my life. I was cruel, I was wrong. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it right. Please." He sent 10 letters, all returned unopened. Return to sender stamped in red. Attempt number 2, gifts. He sent presents for the boys, expensive toys, educational games, books, stuffed animals, 3 of everything. All returned refused. Attempt number 3, money. He opened trust funds, $1 million for each boy, $3 million total. He had his new lawyer, Margaret Fisher, a family law specialist, send the paperwork to Natasha's lawyer. Richard Morrison sent everything back with a note. "My client does not want or need your client's money." Any further attempts at contact will be documented and used as evidence of harassment. Do not contact us again. Attempt 4. Legal action. Derek hired Margaret Fisher to fight for visitation rights. Margaret reviewed all the documents, the threatening letter from Derek's old lawyers, the blocked calls, the security ban. Mr. Lancaster, I'm going to be honest with you. You don't have a strong case. What? I'm their biological father. You voluntarily cut off all contact with their mother when she tried to inform you of the pregnancy. Your lawyers sent a threatening letter calling her a liar and a fraud. You blocked her completely. Then you went 3.5 years without any contact or support. But I didn't know. You chose not to know, and no judge will look kindly on that. Margaret leaned forward. The boys are young, happy, healthy, and stable with their mother. She's raised them successfully alone. She has documentation of your abandonment. She has your lawyer's threatening letter. She has proof you blocked all contact. So I have no rights? You have rights, but exercising them would require a lengthy court battle that you'd probably lose. And in the process, you'd traumatize 3 young children by forcing them into a custody evaluation, possibly therapy, definitely confusion about why this stranger is demanding access to them. What if I just try to see them at school, at the park? That would be a mistake. If you show up anywhere near those children without permission, Natasha could get a restraining order, and that would destroy any future chance you might have. So what do I do? Margaret's voice was gentle but firm. You wait. You give Natasha space. You prove over time that you're serious about being in their lives. You send birthday cards, just cards, no pressure. In a few years, when the boys are older, maybe Natasha will soften. Maybe she'll allow supervised visits. But right now, you have no leverage and no good options. How long will that take? Years, maybe 5 years, maybe 10, maybe when they turn 18. Derek paid Margaret's $15,000 consultation fee and left. Attempt 5. Showing up at school. 3 months after the party, Derek drove to Portland. He found Pacific Heights Academy, the boys' preschool. He parked across the street. He watched the entrance. At 3 p.m., parents started arriving. He saw Natasha's car pull up. He got out of his car. He started walking across the street. The school principal, a woman in her 60s named Mrs. Rodriguez, intercepted him at the gate. Mr. Lancaster? Derek stopped. How did you... Your face has been all over the news for months. I know exactly who you are. Her voice was firm, professional. You are not authorized to be on this campus or anywhere near these children. I just want to see them, from a distance. I won't approach... Ms. Pierce has informed us that you are not to have any contact with her sons. If you don't leave immediately, I will call the police. They're my sons. They are her sons. You are a stranger to them, and your presence would be frightening and confusing. Mrs. Rodriguez pulled out her phone. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to leave. Then I'm calling 911. Derek left. Attempt 6. Soccer games. Derek learned the boys played soccer. Golden Gate Tigers, 4-year-old division. Games on Saturday mornings. He went to a game. He sat in the stands, far away, just watching. He saw them, all 3 of them, running around the field in tiny blue uniforms, laughing, playing, being normal kids. Noah was aggressive, competitive. He wanted to win. Liam was fast, happy. He smiled even when his team was losing. Ethan was gentle. He passed to his brothers. He helped other kids who fell down. They were perfect. And they didn't know he existed. Natasha spotted him in the 3rd minute of the game. She immediately pulled all 3 boys off the field. She took them to her car. She left. The coach approached Derek after the game. Sir, I need to ask you not to return. I'm just watching. You're upsetting the children's mother. Your presence is disruptive. This is a private league. We have the right to refuse attendance. I'm their father. You're someone their mother doesn't want around them. Please don't come back. Derek tried attending one more game. The 2nd time, security met him at the parking lot entrance. Sir, you need to leave now. Derek left. He never went back. Year 1. After the party, Derek was forced out of Lancaster Industries. He signed the papers. He took his severance, $50 million. It should have been enough to live on forever, but it didn't feel like enough. It felt like nothing. Crystal had the baby, a boy. She named him Michael, not Derek Jr. She married the pediatrician from Portland. They had a wedding in Hawaii. Derek saw the photos on Facebook. Crystal looked happy, really happy. Derek sent a gift for baby Michael. Crystal returned it with a note. "Please don't contact my family. Thank you." His ex-wife Victoria, the one before Natasha, called. She left a voicemail. "Derek, I saw the news. I always knew you were selfish, but this is beyond anything I imagined. Those poor boys, that poor woman, I hope you never know peace." She never called again. Year 2. After the party, Derek sold the Bellevue mansion. Too many memories, too much space for one person. He bought a smaller house, 4 bedrooms, quiet neighborhood, nothing special. He went to therapy. Dr. Helen Martinez. She was in her 50s, kind eyes, patient voice. "Why are you here, Derek?" "Because I destroyed my life." "Tell me about that." "I had everything. A chance at a family, success, respect, and I threw it all away because I was cruel and proud and stupid." "What do you want now?" "I want my sons. I want to know them. I want to be their father. But they don't want you. Their mother doesn't want me. The boys don't know me well enough to want me or not. Do you think about their perspective? About what's best for them?" Derek was quiet. "I try to. But mostly you think about what you want," Dr. Martinez said gently. It wasn't a question. "Yes," Derek admitted. "I think about what I lost, what I'll never have." Over months of therapy, Derek slowly began to understand his mistakes. He learned about narcissism, about control, about using other people to fill the emptiness inside himself. "You spent your whole life trying to prove you were worthy," Dr. Martinez said one session. "Worthy of respect, worthy of success, worthy of love. And when Natasha couldn't have children, you felt like a failure." "Yes." "So you made her the failure instead." "Yes." "You couldn't accept that you might marry someone who couldn't give you what you wanted. That would mean you made a bad choice. And if you made a bad choice, that would mean you weren't perfect." "I'm not perfect." "But you needed to believe you were, so you blamed her, you called her defective, you made her the problem, you divorced her to protect your ego." Derek put his head in his hands. "I destroyed her." "No, you tried to destroy her, but she survived, she thrived, she raised 3 sons alone and built a successful business. You didn't destroy her, you only destroyed yourself." Year 3. After the party. Every birthday, Derek sent cards, simple cards. No gifts, no money, just, "Happy 4th birthday, Noah. I think about you every day. Love, Derek." "Happy 4th birthday, Liam. I hope you're happy and healthy. Love, Derek." "Happy 4th birthday, Ethan. I wish I could know you. Love, Derek." He didn't know if they ever received the cards. He never got responses. But he sent them anyway. Christmas cards, Easter cards, first day of school cards. He had investigators check on them periodically. Not to interfere, just to know they were okay. The reports always said the same things. Noah Pierce, excellent student, reading above grade level, plays soccer and chess. Liam Pierce, very social, popular with classmates, loves sports and music. Ethan Pierce, quiet but kind, helps other students, interested in science and art. They were thriving. They didn't need him. Derek Lancaster was 59 years old. His dark hair had gone completely gray. Deep lines creased his face, lines of regret. Loneliness, pain. He looked 10 years older than he was. He lived alone in his modest house in Bellevue. The neighborhood was quiet. Retired people, families, normal. He'd never remarried, never even dated seriously. How could he? Every woman he met eventually Googled his name. And then they saw the video. The viral video that would never die. Even 14 years later, if you Googled Derek Lancaster, the first result was "Billionaire's secret triplets exposed at engagement party." 15 million views on the original. Hundreds of millions across all platforms. His face would forever be the face of abandonment, of cruelty, of karma. His business never recovered. He did consulting work occasionally, made enough money to live comfortably, but nothing like before. Most of his old friends had distanced themselves, some explicitly, some just by slowly responding less, calling less, inviting him to fewer things until eventually, nothing. His sister still called on holidays. His mother had passed away 3 years ago. She'd never met her grandsons. Derek had asked Natasha to let the boys come to the funeral, just to meet their grandmother one time before she died. Natasha's response came through Richard Morrison. No. Every year, Derek sent birthday cards, 18 cards over 14 years, 54 cards total for 3 boys. He never knew if they received them. Until today, Tuesday morning, June 2nd, Derek sat at his kitchen table drinking coffee and reading the news on his tablet. His email notification dinged. He almost ignored it. Probably spam, but something made him look. From noah.pierce@stanford.edu. Derek's heart stopped. His hands started shaking so badly he almost dropped the tablet. He clicked the email. Mr. Lancaster, my name is Noah Pierce. I'm writing on behalf of myself and my brothers, Liam and Ethan. We're 18 years old now. We graduated from high school last week. We've been talking about our biological father. We're curious. We have questions. Our mother knows we're writing this. She said the decision is ours to make. If you're interested, we'd like to meet once, just to talk. Just to understand where we came from. We suggest Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Blue Star Cafe in Portland. Neutral ground. Let us know. Noah Pierce. Derek read the email 5 times, then 10 times. His eyes filled with tears. They wanted to meet him. After 14 years, his sons wanted to meet him. His hands shook as he typed a response. Noah, yes. Yes. I would like to meet you, all of you. Saturday at 2 p.m. I'll be there. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for giving me this chance. I've thought about you every single day for 14 years. Thank you. Derek Lancaster. He hit send. Then he put his head down on the table and sobbed. Derek arrived at the Blue Star Cafe at 12:30 p.m., an hour and a half early. He couldn't help it. He was too nervous to wait at home. The cafe was small. 20 tables, exposed brick walls, local art hanging, coffee smell, quiet jazz music, normal, neutral, safe. Derek ordered black coffee. He sat at a corner table. He faced the door. He checked his watch every 30 seconds. 12:45 p.m. 1 p.m. 1:30 p.m. 1:45 p.m. His coffee was cold. He hadn't drunk any of it. His stomach was too tight. 2 p.m. Exactly. The door opened. 3 young men walked in. Derek stood up so fast his chair scraped loudly against the floor. Several other customers looked over. He didn't care. He stared at his sons. They were tall, over 6 feet, all 3 of them. Broad shoulders, strong jaws, confident postures. They had dark hair, Derek's hair when he was young. Green eyes, Derek's exact shade of green. Strong features, handsome. They looked like him. But there was something different in their eyes, something Derek didn't have. Kindness, warmth, confidence that came from being loved unconditionally, not from dominating others. They looked like better versions of him. The 3 of them walked toward Derek's table. They moved with quiet confidence, not arrogance, just certainty. Mr. Lancaster, the first one said, please, call me Derek. They didn't sit immediately. They just stood there, looking at him, studying him, like he was a science experiment. Finally, they sat. Derek sat too. His heart pounded so hard he could feel it in his throat. Nobody spoke for a moment. The brothers looked at each other. A silent conversation. They'd been together their whole lives. They could communicate without words. Finally, Liam spoke. Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me. Derek's voice cracked. I've wanted to meet you for so long. We know. Ethan said quietly. Mom told us you sent cards every year. Did you get them? Yes. Noah pulled a shoebox from his backpack. He set it on the table. Derek recognized it. A simple shoebox, the kind you'd keep memories in. Every card, every birthday, every Christmas, every first day of school. Noah opened the box. Inside were stacks of cards. All the cards Derek had sent over 14 years. Mom gave them all to us when we turned 16. Derek's eyes filled with tears. You kept them. We read them, Liam said. All of them. What did you think? We think you're sorry, Ethan said simply. But we think you regret what you did. I do. More than you can possibly imagine. But being sorry doesn't change the past, Noah said. His voice was calm, firm. He was clearly the leader. Being sorry doesn't give us back 18 years. Doesn't give us a father when we needed one. Derek nodded slowly. You're right. We came here to understand, Liam said. To understand why you abandoned us. I didn't know you existed. You didn't want to know, Noah interrupted. Not rudely, just correcting a fact. Mom tried to tell you. Multiple times. You blocked her. You refused to see her. Your lawyers threatened her. I thought she was lying. Why? Ethan asked quietly. Why would you think that? Derek looked down at the table. This was the hardest question, the one that exposed who he really was. Because I was angry, because I blamed your mother for 12 years of failed fertility treatments, because I wanted to move on with my life and I didn't want any connection to her, because I was selfish and cruel and proud. He looked up, met their eyes. Because I was a bad man. I'm still trying to become a better one, but I don't know if I ever will. Why did you divorce our mother? Noah asked. Because I wanted children and we couldn't have them. The doctor said it would be very difficult. I became angry. I blamed her. I made her feel worthless. Then I divorced her because I thought she was the problem. But she wasn't the problem, Liam said. No, the IVF worked 2 weeks after I filed for divorce. She tried to tell me. I refused to listen. Ethan leaned forward. Why did you say those things about her at the party? Those cruel things in your speech? Derek closed his eyes. This was harder to explain, harder to admit. Because I wanted to hurt her. I wanted to show everyone that I'd won the divorce, that I'd moved on to someone better. I wanted to humiliate her in front of 200 people. He opened his eyes. I wanted her to feel as worthless as I'd made her feel during our marriage. I wanted everyone to see that she was the failure, not me. Noah searched for words. That's sociopathic. Yes. The three brothers sat back. They looked at each other again. Another silent conversation. Are you better now? Liam asked. Have you changed? I don't know, Derek said honestly. I go to therapy. I work on myself. I try to understand why I did what I did. I try to learn from my mistakes. But I can't undo them. I can only live with them. Do you have other children? Ethan asked. No, my fiancée Crystal had a baby after she left me, a boy named Michael, but he's not mine. She married someone else, someone better. Good for her, Noah said. Yes, good for her. More silence. Derek couldn't take it anymore. He had to ask. Can I ask about you? About your lives? The brothers looked at each other. A slight nod from Noah. I'm going to Stanford Medical School, Noah said. I start in the fall. I want to be a pediatrician. Derek's breath caught. That's incredible. I'm going to MIT, Liam said. Yay? Mechanical engineering. I'm interested in renewable energy systems. I'm going to UC Berkeley, Ethan added. Computer science. I'm working on AI ethics research. Derek's chest tightened. You're all going to do amazing things. We know, Noah said. Not arrogant, just confident. We worked hard. We earned it. Your mother raised you so well. Yes, she did. Liam's voice was firm, proud. Derek had to ask the question that had haunted him for 14 years. Did you need me? Growing up? Did you miss having a father? The three brothers looked at each other. Another silent conversation. Noah answered. No, we had everything we needed. The word hit Derek like a physical blow. We had Mom, Liam added. And we had each other, Ethan finished. So you were happy? Without me? Yes, all three said together. Derek nodded slowly. He should feel relieved. His sons had good lives. But instead he felt empty. They didn't need him. They never had. I'm glad, Derek said. His voice was barely a whisper. I'm glad you had good lives, even without me. The three brothers stood up. The meeting had lasted 23 minutes. Wait, Derek stood too. Can I see you again? Can we stay in contact? Email, calls, anything? Noah shook his head slowly. No. Derek's heart shattered completely, finally, irrevocably. Why not? Because we have our own lives now, Noah said. We're adults. We're moving on to college, to careers, to futures. But I'm your father. No, Liam said gently. You're our biological father. There's a difference. A father is someone who is there, Ethan said. Someone who shows up. Someone who loves you even when it's hard. Someone who sacrifices for you. You gave us DNA, Noah said, but you didn't give us a father. Derek's tears fell freely now. Can I know how you're doing? Can I follow your lives somehow? No, Noah said firmly. We needed to see you once, to put a face to the story, to understand where half our DNA came from. Now we know. And we're satisfied, Liam added. We're closing this chapter, Ethan finished. Derek looked at each of his sons, really looked at them, memorizing their faces. Noah, serious, intelligent, going to save children's lives as a pediatrician. Liam, warm, brilliant, going to help save the planet with renewable energy. Ethan, thoughtful, kind, going to make AI safer and more ethical. Three good men he would never know. Are you happy? Derek asked. His voice broke. Right now, in your lives, are you happy? Yes, all three said together. Then I'm glad. Derek wiped his eyes. I'm glad you're happy, even if I can't be part of it. The three brothers walked toward the door. Derek called out one more time. Wait! They stopped. They turned. Derek didn't know what to say. He just needed them to know. I think about you every day, every single day, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything, for not being there, for not knowing you, for all of it. Noah nodded once. We know. And we forgive you, Liam added. Not for your sake, for ours, so we can move on without anger or bitterness. But forgiveness doesn't mean we want you in our lives, Ethan said. Goodbye, Mr. Lancaster, Noah said. They walked out. The door closed behind them. Derek stood alone at the table in the coffee shop. He looked at the shoebox they'd left behind. All the cards he'd sent over 14 years. They'd kept them all, but they didn't want him. Derek sat down. He put his head in his hands, and he sobbed. Other customers pretended not to notice. They looked away. They gave him privacy. He sat there for an hour, maybe longer. When he finally left, he felt hollow, empty. He'd seen his sons for 23 minutes, and he would never see them again. 5 years later, Derek Lancaster lived alone in his small house in Bellevue. No wife, no children in his life, no grandchildren, no family gatherings, no holidays with loved ones. His sister called occasionally, birthdays, Christmas, but the calls were short, obligatory. His parents were both gone now. They died never meeting their grandsons. Derek worked part-time as a financial consultant, a few clients. Enough to stay busy, not enough to matter. He had money, his severance from Lancaster Industries, invested wisely. He could live comfortably for the rest of his life, but money meant nothing. Every night, he looked at photos on his phone. The three boys at age 3 in navy suits at the engagement party. Screenshot from the viral video. The 3 young men at age 18 in the coffee shop. He'd taken a secret photo through the window before they left. His sons. 2 photos. 2 moments. 23 minutes total of seeing them in person. That was all he would ever have. He followed them online, not in a creepy way, just public information. LinkedIn profiles, university websites. LinkedIn showed their accomplishments. Noah Pierce, MD, completed medical school at Stanford. Pediatric residency at UCSF. Already published research on childhood vaccines. Liam Pierce, MS Mechanical Engineering, graduated MIT with honors. Working at Tesla on revolutionary battery technology. 3 patents already. Ethan Pierce, PhD candidate, Berkeley Computer Science. Startup valued at $75 million at age 23. Making AI more ethical and transparent. They were successful beyond measure. They were happy. They didn't need him. They never had. Natasha Pierce thrived, even at 53. Pierce Financial Consulting had grown to 60 employees. Offices in Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Revenue, $15 million annually. She'd been featured in Forbes, Fortune, Bloomberg Businessweek. Single mother builds $15,000 consulting empire while raising triplets. But the business wasn't her greatest achievement. Her sons were. They visited often, even scattered across the country. Noah in San Francisco, Liam in Palo Alto, Ethan in Berkeley, they came home for holidays. They called every week. They texted every day. They were close. Not just brothers, best friends. Natasha never remarried, never felt the need. Her life was full. Her sons were her greatest joy, her greatest pride, her greatest triumph. She'd raised 3 good men who were nothing like their biological father, men who were kind, compassionate, brilliant, successful. She won. Not by destroying Derek. She won by building something real, something that lasted, something that mattered. Fast forward to Derek's 64th birthday. He sat alone in his house. Small living room, modest furniture, quiet. No calls, no cards, no visitors. His phone sat on the coffee table, silent. He looked at his calendar. June 23rd. His son's birthday, too. They were 23 today. He wondered if they were celebrating. Probably together. Maybe with their mother. Maybe with friends. He wondered if they ever thought about him. Probably not. He picked up his phone. He opened his photos. The 2 pictures. The only pictures he had. 3 boys in navy suits, green eyes bright, looking at their mother with love and trust. 3 young men walking away from a coffee shop, walking into their futures, without him. Derek whispered to the empty room, "Happy birthday, Noah. Happy birthday, Liam. Happy birthday, Ethan." They were out there somewhere, living, thriving, succeeding, without him, as they should. Derek had thrown away his family before he ever met them. He'd called their mother defective. He'd blocked her calls. He'd threatened her with lawsuits. He'd refused to believe she could be pregnant. And now he lived with the consequences, every single day, for the rest of his life, alone. Natasha sat at dinner with her 3 sons, a restaurant in the Pearl District. They were celebrating their birthday. Noah told a funny story about a patient at the hospital. Liam showed them photos of his new electric car prototype. Ethan demonstrated his new AI ethics app. They laughed, they talked, they enjoyed being together. Natasha looked at her 3 sons, grown men now but still her babies, and felt overwhelming gratitude. She'd done it. She'd raised 3 exceptional humans. Without Derek's money, without Derek's name, without Derek. She won.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed the story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So, do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.